When we talk about communication, people will tell much about the clarity, choice of words, body language, eye contact, etc. These are very important aspects in communication, of course. But one very important aspect, which is not much spoken about, is the timing of communication. That is, when should we communicate? Now, if you communicate too much in advance, it will be a premature communication and that will lead to a number of problems. On the other hand, if you communicate very late, that also leads to another set of problems. So we need to communicate at appropriate time. I normally give an example. Suppose you are going in a road in a taxi and your house is in the second turning. First turning, second turning, third turning. And you want to tell the taxi person to turn to the right. And that's where your house is. Now where should you tell, when you should tell the taxi person to turn to right? Sometimes we tell even before the first turning, and when the taxi turns to the first turning, we say, oh my God, this is not the one. You should have gone to the second one. Which means we have communicated to the taxi driver prematurely. We are not communicated at appropriate time, and that's why he turned to the first turn instead of the second turn. Now he has to come back, reverse, and all that he has to take. This is called premature communication. Now the opposite of this is what is known as belated communication, which means we communicate after the event is over or after it is useful. For example, in the same example, where your house is in the second right turn, you will tell him after you cross the third right turn. Now here it is a belated communication. Then when we should tell exactly when the first turning is over, before turning to the left, in that intervening space we should have. So it is very important to time the communication and make communication appropriate. Now you might have heard this saying, justice delayed is justice denied, which means any justice which is done after a long time is justice denied. But equally, justice hurried is justice buried. You cannot give a justice without collecting witness, without making proper analysis. The justice may be, the verdict may be wrong. So justice needs to be given at appropriate time, and that's what with communication also. For example, when you talk of the premature communication, let us say your boss calls you and he tells you that I would like to give some benefit to workman, or I would like to check up what is your opinion, should we promote this person this year? See, in good confidence he has asked you, and you will tell your opinion, of course. Now, suppose you go back to that person and say, that boss called me and he was inquiring about the proposed promotion for you. You may tell that it is only a proposal, but the other person may take it as a commitment. So, which means you are communicated earlier than when you should have communicated. This is a premature communication. Now, the opposite of this, of course, the belated communication. Suppose you want the employees to apply before 15th of this month for a loan application or some such thing. You announce, send an email after 20th, for example. Now, 15th is already over. Now, this is a belated communication. So, premature communication is as ineffective as belated communication and vice versa. So, apart from clarity of communication, the body language and other aspects which people normally speak about, which are of course are very important, you should also ensure that whether the communication is at appropriate time. Am I communicating earlier than when I should? Or am I communicating much later than when it serves no purpose? So we need to constantly think, what is the proper timing of communication to make the communication very relevant, effective, result-oriented. Thank you.